it's Tammy from Shrinking Violet DS. I'm going to try and change the lighting. There we go. And today is Monday, October 8th, and this is my So You've Decided to Have a DS video. A little bit of background on me. I had a traditional duodenal switch surgery on March 9th of 2017 at Mexicali Bariatric Center with Dr. Antonio Esquerra. My weight on my surgical date was 248 pounds. My weight now is 130 pounds. I took a little less than a year, probably 7 to 9 months, to lose 130 pounds. Oh, and I say I lost 130 pounds because my starting weight was 260 March 19th when I started my pre-op liver shrinking diet. So I went from 260 to 130 in about 7 to 9 months, and I have been maintaining ever since. So I've been in maintenance for 4 months now, maybe a little longer. Anyway, so I last did what to think about when considering to have a DS. Now I'm assuming that you've decided to have one, and so this is what I think you should do to prep for it. Number one, I think you need to prep yourself and your family for your recovery. Having a duodenal switch is a big surgery. It's normally about 6 hours long. It's very invasive, even though it's done laparoscopically. Much more invasive than either a sleeve or an RNY. That's because your intestines are cut into 3 sections and rerouted entirely. Parts that never touched each other are now sewn together. There's a new hole stuck in one at a place that never had a hole before. Another end of that is, free flowing and has just been closed off at one end and tucked behind your liver. And 85% of your stomach is cut out. It's a big surgery. It's not going to look like a big surgery because it's laparoscopic, but it is. I was in the hospital for 4 nights, 5 days. I then was in bed pretty much nonstop, except I would get up occasionally to sit on the couch and visit with my family. I was in bed for 2 weeks. I'm not a fast healer either, so that could be why you'll talk to other people that are like, oh yeah, I bounced right back. I didn't. And I really wanted to give myself the opportunity to heal well. I did not want to pop any internal stitches. I did not want to have any complications. I didn't want to twist funny and cause any torsions. Nothing. I just wanted to be completely compliant and heal properly. And I did. I had a fantastic healing. I was not allowed to drive for 2 weeks afterwards, and I didn't. Once I could drive, I also went back to work. Partially, I work from home. I'm self-employed, so that's pretty easy for me. It's all brain work, so it's not like I'm lifting anything. Wasn't allowed to lift anything, I think, for at least a month. It might have been 6 weeks. And I didn't. I was really, really compliant, and it worked for me. So prepare your family. You are not going to be, running around with them. I watched somebody's video, or it was on Instagram or something, and this woman was complaining because she said that she had had terrible complications because nobody told her that she should rest and recover after her surgery. So 2 days after her DS, she went out and weeded her garden. I'm sorry, but that's just stupid. That is willful ignorance. If you cannot figure out that you've just had major surgery and you should not weed your garden 2 days later, I've got nothing to say. So use your brains. If you think, oh, maybe I shouldn't be doing this, you shouldn't be doing it. All right. Number 2, allow yourself the time to heal fully. Do not rush it. Give yourself that luxury. It's really important. You can't see how well you're healing. All you can see are your little tiny puncture wounds on your tummy. Those are going to heal pretty well no matter what. It's all those stitches inside. And those are really important because if you rip a stitch, you could start to leak. And if you start to leak, you go back into surgery. You could become septic. You could keep tearing. I mean, it's just not a good thing. Take your time and recover fully. Number 3, prep your family for your new way of eating and your lack of desire for food. When they take out 85% of your stomach, the ghrelin, which is your hunger hormone, goes way down because the part of your stomach that excretes that is gone. So you're not hungry at all for about 6 months. Then you get a little bit hungry, but no hunger. You have to remind yourself to eat. You have to make yourself eat. So if you were anything like me, and if you needed weight loss surgery, we've got to be at least somewhat similar. Food was a big part of your life before that. For me, I liked cooking and I liked baking, and that was one of the ways that I showed my family how much I cared for them, was by doing that every day. I cooked at least 2 meals a day. I do again now, but for that first 6 to 9 months after surgery, I didn't. I wasn't interested in it. I couldn't taste things to see if they tasted right, because I was not putting those things in my mouth. They weren't part of my diet. They were not hitting my tongue. I wasn't hungry, so it was hard for me to think about feeding other people. So really, they were on their own quite a bit for food. You know, I would buy food and make sure it was there. I would have sandwich stuff for them. I would, you know, have pasta and sauces and ground beef, you know, so they could make pasta sauce. But I was not making fancy dishes. I was not making huge meals. I think it was 7 weeks after surgery, we did our first entertaining again, and that was for Easter Sunday. And I did the full meal deal, the ham, the deviled eggs, the sides, the everything, because we always have, I think we had 12 or 14 people. And so I did it all, and I ate 1.5 deviled eggs and then threw them up. And that was it. I couldn't do it. I just could not eat that stuff. I was on purees at that time. Maybe I was on Full Foods. I guess I was on Full Foods at that time. But really, all I wanted was just my protein shake. Even those eggs were just too much. So, yeah. Prepare your family for your change in attitude towards food. And it's important that your attitude change towards food, and it's important that they allow it to change, because you need that support and not feeling like you're responsible for everyone else eating the way they want to eat. For the time that you are losing weight, they're going to have to eat however you're willing to feed them. It's not forever. They can do it. Let's see. Number 4, prepare your family for changes in your digestion. And this includes changes in gas and stool. And I said this in preparing your things to think about when you're thinking about having a DS, and still important. So you've thought about it, you've decided that it's okay, you're gonna have the DS, even though you know you're gonna have increased gas, you're gonna have an increased odor in your stools, you're gonna have to go to the bathroom a lot more often. It's going to be kind of forefront in your mind for quite a while, until you get used to how your body processes foods again. And so you need to prepare your family. They're gonna have to know that that's just the way it is. It does get better over time, and you will learn the foods that you can and can't have. Protein shakes usually make people pretty gassy. The pre-prepared ones, you can play with different ones and see if some are better for you than others. But yeah, it's important that they know, because it's a pretty big deal. Okay, number 5, prepare your friends and family for your new interest in weight loss surgery topics. And I was not prepared for how much it was on my mind all the time. And it is, because your body's constantly changing, and you just don't know what in the heck is going on, what to expect next, even though you're watching videos, and you're watching this video, so you're probably going to be watching others, And I watched every video I could find because I just needed that sense that someone else had gone through this and how it was going to go for me and that kind of thing. And I would find it's almost like having a new boyfriend or girlfriend. That's all you think about. That's all you want to talk about. That's what interests you at the moment. And everything in your life comes full circle back to that. And so just kind of warn them and let them know it's going to be weird. You're going to get tired of hearing me talk about this stuff. This is why I have weight loss surgery friends that I can talk to it about, but it's important to be able to talk to your family about it too, and to have them not roll their eyes and go, oh, we are so tired of hearing about that. Again, they can live through this. If you're living through it, they can live through it. They just have to be prepared for it, and that's important. Number 6, pack your bag for the hospital. You don't need a lot of stuff. What I took was a loose nightgown that buttoned all the way down the front. And the reason I did one that buttoned down the front was because in between the buttons there are holes, or you could leave buttons open, and that meant that I could have tubes in and out, because you have drains and you've got your IV and you've got all kinds of stuff. It also meant that it was easy for the hospital workers to access my chest, you know, to listen to my heart and stuff like that without me having to get all undressed. So that's what I recommend. I tend to find hospitals a little chilly, so I took one that was flannel, but you know, whatever you want. Slippers. You need grippy slippers because hospital floors are slippery, but you need ones that you can just slide in and out of without having to bend down, because you cannot bend over after surgery. Absolutely not. You can't raise your leg up to your hand, so you can't be putting on a shoe. It simply has to be a shoe that you can slip in and out of easily. So that's important. So I just use like backless slippers, like mules kind of. I also took a robe, again, because I get cold and because you have to walk. Walk. They will tell you that almost immediately when you get out of surgery. They want you walking because they fill your abdomen cavity with gas, and also because you've been laying still. And so walking around will help move that gas, but it will also help keep your blood flowing and lessen your chance of blood clots, which is very, very important. So a robe, because I did not like wandering the halls in just my nightgown. I took also a sleep mask, an eye mask, because no matter how much you hope your room's gonna be dark, it's never dark enough, at least not for me. I took headphones and my phone. I downloaded audiobooks to my phone and took headphones because that way I couldn't hear the various hospital sounds. I took my own pillow. For me, my pillow has traveled around the world. It has more frequent flyer miles than most people. And I never go anywhere without my pillow, but I was really glad to have it in the hospital because you're already uncomfortable, you're already not happy, and just to have your own pillow is so comforting and so nice. So yeah, your own pillow. I think that was it for what to take. The other thing that I did is, and I always do this with any kind of surgery, whether it's oral or physical or whatever, I tend to get sick, very, very sick from anesthesia and pain meds. I'm always throwing up, no matter what. They can give me Phenergan, they can give me, you know, whatever anti-nausea that they want via IV, I still will throw up. So I always have my doctor also prescribe a scopolamine patch, and it's the thing that goes behind your ear. A lot of people use it for seasickness or vertigo, and I put that on the day before surgery, so I've got 24 hours of it in my system already, and I use that in addition to whatever they're going to give me in the hospital, and that works really well for me. It's the only thing that keeps me from being nauseous, and let me tell you, when you've had your stomach and your intestines operated on, you do not want to be throwing up. Not fun. So, highly recommend scopolamine patches. Number 6. When you're prepping for your return home, don't overstock on food. It was ridiculous how much stuff I had. I had like 6 of those large Tetra boxes of broth, various types of broth. I had, I think, 4 18-pack cases of protein shakes. I had packs and packs of sugar-free Jell-O. I had packs and packs of sugar-free applesauce and popsicles and yogurts, protein waters, vitamin waters, all this stuff. Well, let me tell you, I could not have eaten that stuff in months. And by the time you're done with your liquids phase, you don't want that stuff anymore. So I would recommend getting the small little Tetra packs of broth and maybe getting 2, 3, 4, not very many, because you in the beginning are going to have not much at all. Your main goal in the beginning is fluids, water. That's what you need to make sure that you're getting down. Food, not so important. My surgeons say that your goal for protein is at the end of 30 days to be able to take in 30 grams of protein a day. And then at the end of 60 days to be able to take in 60 grams of protein a day. End of 90 days, 90 grams. So when you think of 30 grams of protein a day, one Premier Protein shake is 30 grams of protein. So that means you would drink 1 shake in an entire day and nothing else if you're just getting your 30 grams of protein. And those you can't even start until, what, 10 days after surgery? A week after surgery? Because they're full liquids. They're not clear liquids. So your broth and your protein waters and your Jell-O are and your popsicles are your clear liquids. And so you've got 10 days worth of that. Trust me, it's going to be very limited. Don't buy a lot of stuff. And your tastes do change. So I had those 4 cases of Premier Protein shakes, and before surgery, chocolate was my least favorite. After surgery, it was my most favorite because it tasted the least sweet to me. Before surgery, I loved the banana and the strawberry. I can't hardly stomach them now. I can do the, and the caramel. I must have had 5 cases because I had 1 of each flavor. I couldn't do anything but the chocolate. Everything else was so sweet. I can now do the caramel, the chocolate, and the vanilla. I also like peaches and cream. The cookies and cream is okay. I still find the strawberry and the banana to be very sweet. So yeah, instead of buying cases of them, I wish I had just bitten the bullet and bought the 4 packs of them. They are more expensive per shake, but then you don't end up with a whole bunch of shakes you don't want. I had to finally just make myself drink them. I would just think of them as medicine and drink them down. So don't overstock. Get a garbage gripper. And by that, I mean those little things that are a claw on a long stick, and they've got a handle. You squeeze the handle and the claw opens and closes because you can't bend over. And so if you drop something and nobody else is around, it's dead to you until you can get someone else there to help you. So if you get one of those, and my husband got mine for me at Home Depot, if you get one of those, then you can pick up your own stuff. You drop your robe or whatever, you can just pick it up. You drop your book, you can pick it up. Highly recommend one of those. The other thing is that when you're laying in bed, if you have pets that normally come into bed with you, put a big fluffy pillow on your stomach because you do not want them jumping on your stomach. So it's really important to protect all those incisions that are inside your gut. So I highly recommend that. Know your nutritional goals before you have your surgery. And I told you my surgeon said 30 grams in 30 days, 60 grams in 60 days, 90 grams in 90 days when it came to protein. when it came to water. I can't remember what his recommendations were, but basically it was drink as much water as you can. And they will tell you what your minimums are. Water is the most important. If you can't drink water, then get the popsicles. Those are really good because they trickle. You know, they melt slowly in your mouth, so they trickle down. Some people don't like water because it's plain. Popsicles have flavoring. Make sure they are sugar-free popsicles. Not low sugar, not natural juice, not organic, not anything but sugar-free popsicles. If you cannot find sugar-free popsicles, make your own with sugar-free Kool-Aid. No juice. Juice is just a big sugar bomb. Juice, if you do need some calories, apple juice works really well, but cut it half and half with water. All right. When you get home, don't resume your meds until your doctors tell you to. I learned this the hard way. I think I had been home for 3 days or something like that, and it was the first day when I felt like I could crush my meds and take them. And so I took my high blood pressure medication. I took my metformin for my diabetes, and I can't remember what else. I think that was it. And I almost passed out in the shower because my blood pressure was so low. And my blood pressure was so low because I did not have high blood pressure anymore, and I didn't have diabetes anymore. All those things were normal by the time I left the hospital. So see your physician or your surgeon and ask them before resuming those meds. And if you are going to resume them, do it when someone else is around. I was home alone. That was really stupid. Okay, and finally, don't push exercise after surgery. You know, people say, oh, it's so important to exercise. Well, it's important to walk gently, but you don't need to be exercising right away. And that's very controversial for me to say, and I have no doubt I'll get a bunch of people saying, no, that's not right, it's so important, blah, blah, blah. Your body, my body anyway, was expending so much energy on weight loss, it did not have anything left for exercise. I was barely getting in enough calories to sustain myself just in losing weight. And even when I would have a plateau, or even when I would gain, because if any of you have seen my weight loss charts that I have posted, it's a stair step. It goes but the overall is a downward trajectory, but it's a downward going like this. You know, it jitters. Even then, I never exercised. Now I'm starting to think about weightlifting to add muscle, but no cardio. I just don't have the energy stores. I probably could now, but when you're losing weight, you just can't. Don't push the exercise. It's really, if you're going to concentrate on one thing, concentrate on your eating. That is the most important thing you can do. No carbs except for incidental carbs. Excuse me. I did not eat anything that had any notable carb content. My carbs literally were all incidental carbs. So in a Premier Protein, I think it's 1 or 3 net carbs, something like that. In beef jerky, I would look at every package of beef jerky because so many of them had sugar. And if something had more than 5 carbs in it, it wasn't going in my mouth, I can tell you. My carb intake was generally under 30 a day. And that's important. That is how you lose your weight. Not by low fat, because you malabsorb most of your fat. You don't lose weight with low fat. You don't primarily lose weight eating a low fat diet as a de-esser. You primarily lose weight eating a low carb diet as a de-esser. If you watched my update video, the one before this, you'll see that I was 126. I had lost some weight, not on purpose, but just because I had not been eating, because I was busy and stressed. And the way I gained it back was by adding carbs. Adding fat does not work for a de-esser for weight gain. So if weight is added with carbs, it's also retained with carbs. Don't eat carbs. I don't care, again, if they're local, organic, sustainable, fair trade. It's a carb. A carb is a carb is a carb. I don't care if it's a vegetable carb. I don't care if it's a fruit carb. I don't care if it's a whole grain carb. It's a carb. You don't need it. Incidental carbs only until you're in maintenance. All right. So those are my... So you decide to have a DS, and this is what you need to prep yourself for. I will do my next installment probably not for a few weeks because I do have a crazy travel schedule coming up. But my next one will be the types of things I ate while losing weight for my DS. If you have any questions, I'm always here. I'm always happy to help. And you can follow me on Instagram, ShrinkingVioletDS. And I guess that's about it. Talk to you later. Bye.